So, shout out to Simon and Garfunkel, their song April Come She Will, and April 1 is coming, and there's a deadline. Since we were here last time, the Oklahoma Education Association, Oklahoma Public Employees Association, April 1 is the date where they get their $10,000 teacher raise, public employees, all of that. Well, I don't think anyone can blame the teachers for setting a hard deadline on their demands on April 1st. I mean, we're looking at 50th in teacher pay across the country. We're looking at spending $1,700 less per pupil than the national average. We're looking at losing 700 teachers since 2014 alone. Teachers, state employees, they have been begging the legislature to do something for them, begging to have a living wage paid, begging for us to stop playing political games at 23rd and Lincoln and do what's best for them and do what's best for our children. And it looks like that this is all coming to a head. Okay, so it sets in motion April the 1st. If they don't get their raise, we had Alicia Priest in here for a 17,000 people watch that Facebook Live Friday, which, by the way, in a few minutes we'll be Facebooking Live after the show right here from the News 9 studio. And I've promised this. I would ask the floor leader, the guy that will make the decision, one of the big decision makers, will the OEA, the OPEA, and the folks get their $10,000 raise by April 1? And the answer is?
Unlikely that there will be a 26% raise by April 1st. Now, and again, this is coming from somebody who voted for Step Up. I voted for 3 separate packages that would have put forth a $5,000 teacher pay raise. But I think one of the things that gets caught in all of this is they're not asking for a $10,000 raise right away. What they're wanting is a plan. When I've talked to constituents in my district, I've talked to probably 15 teachers directly from my district, and what they've said is they want to see a plan, they want to see action. They're sick of words, and I got to tell you, some politicians better be afraid, because they're getting educated and they know how to look who's been voting to support teachers and who's been saying they've been voting to support teachers, and it's not always the same people.
All right, last night had the Halavities, Doc Halavity and Ben Halavity, our friends who are both teachers, were over at the house, and we were talking about, do people realize exactly what's about to happen? How this trickle-down effect will happen if there's a teacher walkout. By the way, it would be a walkout, not a strike, because OEA doesn't bargain with teachers. So journalists are going to have to get their act together, make sure they know what's going on. My point is, do you think, on your side of the coin, do you realize what is about to happen if they set this in motion?
Well, originally the deadline was going to be at the end of April. Now that was changed due to pressure to the first day in April, or April 2nd, the day after the deadline to have the education budget. That's also the day for standardized testing for the ACT and SET. We also have some issues. If you miss too many days, it will put federal funding at risk. Additionally, if you miss that testing, it can put federal funding at risk. Here's the bottom line. The legislature has to deliver on a plan, and they need to deliver on a plan by April 1st. Now, there is a plan in the Senate, which the Senate is considering very seriously, which would fund a $2,000 teacher pay raise. We could do that next week. And what I'm saying is we need to start. We need to start that process. House passed that plan bipartisan. The Senate is considering it very seriously, but we got to deliver something.
In the old days of the Cold War, we had this thing called mutual assured destruction, which meant nobody ever launched because nobody won whenever that happened. Do you feel like that people understand, do you understand, the Democrat caucus understand, what may go into effect if April gets here with no raise?
Well, first of all, I think one of the biggest mistakes in this whole process is to continue to make a teacher pay raise, continue to make funding for education a partisan issue. Whenever we say that the position that we're in is because Democrats ran the state for 100 years and look what happened, and you know, we're in the position we're in because Republicans have run the state for the last 10 years and look what's happened. What we're missing in this whole process is the fact that we're ruining a generation of children's education by not being able to come together and solve a problem. And so this issue of blaming, this issue of whose fault it is, I don't think teachers care whose fault it is. Teachers want us to fix a problem, and it's in the best interest of them and our children for us to do that.
All right, we'll move along to this one. I know that all the reporting has been about what OEA said on Thursday, Friday, but there are things going on behind the scenes already on revenue fronts, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this on this show multiple times across the last 13 months. Sometimes the easiest thing for us to do is the easiest thing for us to do. We can return gross production rates back to their historic 7% rate. We can return income tax rates back to what they were even a decade ago. We've taken nearly $2 billion out of the state's ability to spend on things that we care about. That's recurring revenue that we can spend on core services of government that help us invest in a future that makes our state better for everyone, both now and for generations ahead. We should just do the easiest thing.
What's going on behind the scenes we should know about that's overcome by the news about the possible walkout?
Meetings are happening all the time. Meetings happened between the minority leader and the speaker last week. Meetings happened between myself and the Senate the week before. Here's the bottom line, though. What's going on behind the scenes is people still have to stop care about credit. If you see somebody, if you see the House Democrats, the House Republicans, the Senate come out and say, here's my plan for a 76-vote measure, don't take it serious, because the bottom line is until we stop caring about who gets credit, stop caring about a political win, because there is no political win. Are we going to win for the kids? Are we going to win for the state of Oklahoma? Or is the state going to lose? That's when you'll know something serious has happened, when people are moving forward.
Hart, we're down to a minute. New leaders, old leaders, how is the leadership going to react to this?
Well, Speaker Charles McCall was elected again for 2 more years as Speaker. I was the first one to offer him my condolences to have to continue to do this again. But in all seriousness, you have continuity of leadership in the House. I think that's going to be a good thing, and I think we're going to be able to use that to move the state forward.
You close, please.
Yeah, I'd like to say congratulations to Speaker Charles McCall on winning his 2nd term as Speaker of the House, and look forward to that continued leadership. I'd also like to say that I'm really proud of the Democratic candidates for governor, Connie Johnson and Drew Edmondson, for both supporting teachers and state employees in this process as they look at a walkout in order to require a fair wage. It's great to see this kind of leadership in our state, and I look forward to continuing to be a part of it.
Look, we lost an hour, but we made it out on time. See this again at news9.com/YourVoteCounts. And remember, Facebook Live right after the show.